L'chaim, 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 Afrechem, Lichtika, Purim Katan, l'chaim. Yep. I'm drinking this high quality Psagot Rosé. Actually bought it in the summer. Kept it shut. Got better because I had some bottles in the summer, and now it even tastes better. Anyways, for those who are watching now, having a Purim Katan Suda at Baruch Hashem. You can't see my plate, but Baruch Hashem, we have some assorted meats. Nothing too much, but covered the yom. The day must be marked, and the day must be celebrated, and we'll explain the inyan in a few short words. But the question for anyone out there who knows me, is having seen me make cham on a rosé. As I said, that's not Rabbi Beckhofer. That's an imposter. What happened to the real Rabbi Beckhofer? What have you done with him? Rabbi Beckhofer drinks cabs, Cabernets, and Cabernet Sauvignon, and Merlots, and Syrahs, mainly cabs, but, any good high-quality dry red wine. Why is Rabbi Beckhofer, the supposed Rabbi Beckhofer, making l'chaims on Purim Katan, right, with a rosé? It's really me, and I'll tell you why. Because I'm out of wine. Right? Lo aleichem, lo aleinu. And in Biden's world, Hashem Yirachim, the shortages, and to remedy the situation that I should no longer be out of wine. Not now, and I'm thinking ahead for Purim and Pesach, when we need wine badly, and I'm not kidding, there are shortage problems. So to remedy the situation for myself and all Klal Yisrael, this upcoming Motzei Shabbos is our wine tasting event in Bet Shalom in Lawrence. You could see the details and be able to order your tickets, with the link that's on the screen. Post it again, right? An opportunity to taste the best kosher wines that there are, stuff you'd never dare to buy because you haven't tasted it first. How do you know you'll like it? You'll taste bottles that are worth hundreds of dollars. A single bottle is worth multiple hundreds of dollars. It'll be there for tasting, but that's just the just the Vorspice. The tasting is a hechsher mitzvah. The real mitzvah, you'll be able to order wine for Purim and Pesach, and it's the whole year. You have one shot to order. You'll have a comprehensive catalog that you walk around. Everything you like, you'll scratch off in your catalog, right? And there's a short Dvar Torah in the catalog also. And in the back, there's an order sheet, which has to be in by, next week, Thursday the 24th. But order all your wines for Purim, for Pesach, and, even for afterwards. But order all your wines while they still last. And since you're doing it through Evan Shasia, through our organization, and you're doing it as a donation to our Kiddush Club, right? Since you as a donation to our Kiddush Club, you will get all these high quality wines, not at just great prices, but tax deducted because you did this as donations to our Kiddush Club. All right, it's you give me a donation, and therefore you'll be you'll get a tax break. The kids are an accountant will explain it to you better. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but it's all perfectly legal, and you save a lot of money, and you'll have gotten your order in to make sure you won't be left without wines, the wines that you like for Purim and for Pesach, and you could put in the order for the whole year, no problem. Delivery options available, but okay, more of that at the event. Let's talk about the inyan of the day of Purim Katan, and it's especially significant, in the fact that it's a Shemitta year, and of course in world events. We'll talk about this. Can't help but noticing the parallels between what's happening this year and also what these chagim represent cosmically. Well, first of all, Purim in all its forms, Purim Katan, and the full expanded Purim next month is all the Chag of Mechias Amalek, right? And we know Amalek is represented by cold, because he makes us apathetic and ambivalent and lukewarm about our avodas Hashem, and it's cold outside, really cold. Yeah, so there's Amalek in the world if it's like horribly cold. It's, beneath freezing outside, right? But we need to discuss, the progression. Purim, Katan, Purim, Pesach, right? What that would mean, what that means cosmically, because we know every year is a mini round of destiny, right? It's like destiny in a capsule. Like we move through destiny one year at a time, and every year itself is a mini destiny, and we like finish up this aspect of destiny and move on to the next aspect of destiny and move on to the next aspect of destiny. The weekly cycle is also the same thing, by the way, right? The 6 days a week are probably 6,000 years. Shabbos is connected the seventh, right? The seventh where everything is mushbat, everything is ceased, like Shabbos, day of rest. So the whole universe put to rest. And in the 8th millennium, HaKadosh Baruch Hu starts a new world, right? And so every Shabbos also we move through destiny Shabbos by Shabbos, like a mini destiny, then the next aspect of destiny, and then the next aspect of it. And same thing with the annual cycle. We're not going to go through the whole year cycle now, but we will discuss, Purim Katan, Purim Gadol, Pesach, and in context of a leap year. But first, in the context of a small year, okay, in a regular year, right? Just even in a regular year, which also is a mini destiny, but of course, destiny could be in its full expanded form, and you have a year which it's very constrained capsule. A regular year is a constrained capsule. A leap year, as we will explain, is also a mini destiny, but in a greater expanded form, more detail, and an aspect that is a quantum leap forward to the end of time. Every year is a small step forward. A leap year is a big step forward. And Shemitta year, also a big step forward. We just mentioned a minute ago that the 6 days of the work week and the 7th Shabbos are parallel to 6,000 years of Olam Hazeh, and the Shabbos connected the Chad Chorov, the one where the world's laid desolate. The world is mushbat, Shabbos. Everything ceases. And then on the 8th year, the 8th millennium, it's like a new world. Same thing also in years. Every 6 regular years are parallel to 6,000 years. The Shemitta year, that word is connected like the Shabbos, the grand Shabbos, the 7th millennium. So this is amazing, as we're going to explain. Leap year and Shemitta coinciding is huge, because it's really the coincidence of two forms of quantum leap forward, not just a small step forward to the future, but a big step forward. A leap year is a bigger step forward to the tikkun of the future than a regular year. A regular year is also a step forward, but it's a small step or it's a big step, right? So Shemitah year, big step forward, right? It's parallel to like it's called that we've brought a cessation, a Shabbos, right? We've ceased, the world order that was pre-Shemitah, and like reality is on a much higher level after Shemitah year. Same thing after leap year, and you have the two together, unbelievable. And this, for some reason, the speciality of a leap year plays out in Purim. There's 2 Purims, a Purim Katan and a Purim Gadol, right? So now to try to explain this in a few brief words, and you could come to the wine tasting event that's on the screen and talk and learning with me and have l'chaims with me all night, all right? And we could talk about this at greater length. And at this event, there will be a wine catalog. And in it, I have an essay on this very topic. Right? But for today, right, you look at, a regular year, right? There seemingly is the Torah repeated itself, gave 2 parshas, and then repeated the same 2 parshas almost verbatim, just a slightly different context. We have the parshas of Truma and Tetzaveh, which talk about the plans for the Mishkan. Truma Tetzaveh and the first half of Kisisa, right? That we're about to read this week, right? So 2.5 parshas. Cheta Ego, sadly, the forgiveness, and then again Moshe comes down from mountain. We have a repeat of Truma Tetzaveh and that half of Kisisa all over again. almost sometimes word for word. Just the context is different. That when Truma Tetzaveh in the first half of Kisi says, Hashem telling Moshe when he's in heaven, this is how you're going to do it. And the context of Vayakol Pekude is, and this is how they built it, but everything's mentioned again. All the details and all the dimensions, all the measurements. Why? It's not a single extra word in Torah. Right? It must be that there are two different realities, right? And the two different realities speak for themselves. Truma Tetzaveh in the first half of Kisisa are plans. Hashem is telling Moshe, this is the way it's going to be. Right? Vayakol Pekude is, this is how they did it. Right? Plan versus action. Thought versus action. Right? Because now generally in a project, we don't care about the thoughts. The thoughts are just a stepping stone. We just care about the final product, right? Not so, right, in the Mishkan, and not so in our Avodas Hashem, right? Our thoughts are not just a stepping stone to do the action. In a certain way, our thoughts are the main thing. Kutsha brichu liba bayit. Rebbe wants the heart. He wants the heart. He wants your heart to be, he wants you to do it lishma, for its own sake. And that's in the heart, lishma. The action is the same action. Whether it's done lishma or shelo lishma, it's the same action. Rebbe wants you to do it lishma, l'shem shamayim. That's all in the mind, that's all in the heart. Right? That's, and also our relationship with Hashem is on two different levels. We have our emunah, our bitachon, that's all in the mind and in the heart. Right? And we have a relationship with him just for that alone, right? Habakkuk came and said, all of Torah could be condensed to one thing. The tzaddik lives by his emunah. All the Tariq mitzvahs, everything that we do could be condensed to the nekuda of emunah, right? We have our emunah in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and we have also the mitzvahs that we do for him, right? And of course, any Jew has to be in for everything. You can't be in for half, right? You have to be in for the mind and heart aspect. You have to be in it for the action aspect. You have to be in it for both, right? But there are different guidelines for these two things, right? There's the Gemara says in Bracha Hidus and Daf Yud Zayin, we say to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Ribono Shel Olam, Galui v'yadua f'necha sheritzonenu la'asos ritzoncha, umi ma'akev sor shebitz v'shibud malchus. Ribono Shel Olam, we want to do what you want, but who gets in the way? The chametz in the dough, which refers to the Yetzer Hara, and the shibud malchus, and also the exile. Right? What we have in our minds and hearts that we want to do what Hashem wants, right? That's much bigger than what actually is performed, because something gets in the way between the mind and heart and action. The Yetzer Hara, which is represented by chametz, and the shibud malchus, and also the golus. The goyim have a bad influence on us, and they oppress us, or they stop us, or they have a bad influence on us, right? So now, someone should immediately put together the pieces. Truma Tetzaveh is read during Adar. Right? And we read them before Purim. And it represents the plans. And the plans that we have, how we want to be a walking Mishkan for Hashem. We want to just be connected to Hashem like we are through the medium of the Mishkan. In the mind and heart, that's complete. Every Jew deep down just wants to do what Hashem wants. And that's the famous Rambam in Hilchos Gerushin. When a person refuses to give a get, the Beis Din Shel Yisrael could force him. And it's not called that he gave it under duress and we made him do something against his will, as Rambam explains it, because deep down he wants to do what Hashem wants. So the Mishkan of the heart is fully intact, right? There's a Mishkan in action. We read the parshas of Truma Tetzaveh in Adar before Purim. Right? And then after Purim, we meet in a regular year, Vayakol Pekude, and we read that as Chodesh Nisan comes in. Right? Parshas Pekude is generally Ha-Chodesh, right? When we bench Rosh Chodesh Nisan. When was the Mishkan physically erected? Chodesh Nisan. The year before they got out of Egypt, the next Nisan, they put up the Mishkan. So we don't say Tachnun the first 12 days of Nisan, because it was when they were inaugurating the Mishkan. Right? Yitzias Mitzrayim represents, the Geula in full actuality, and we hope B'Nisan Nigolu, B'Nisan Atidin Ligael. And that's why, by no coincidence, Pesach is the Chag of Bir Chametz, because Pesach is about Geula in full actuality, right? What gets in the way of actuality? The source should be, so we said, the Chametz in the heart. So you get it, right? Pesach is, involves Bir Chametz. You get rid of the block, and then you have the Geula in full actuality. And that's the way it was then, and that's the way it'll be in the future, right? Right? We first need a renewal of the heart, right? That's renewal of the heart, right? There first has to be a renewal of the commitment in the heart. And Purim is a stepping stone of moving the renewal of the heart towards actuality, because Amalek gets in the way, but Amalek more attacks the heart directly. He's not just a block between the heart and action. He tries to attack the heart by cooling us down, making us apathetic, right? So, so the renewal of the Mishkan of the heart that we're in Truma Tzav, Tzav is generally Parsha Zachor, right, in a regular year, right? That the renewal in the heart is not complete without a Mechias Amalek, and it's a stepping stone. It lightens a little bit the Shibud Malchias, a little bit, right, to come to full Gula and actuality, but not fully, right? Why don't we say why don't we say Halo on Purim? What's the reason Gemara gives? Akati Avdei Achashverosh. It's not full Geula in actuality. We were still slaves of Achashverosh. So even though it lessens the Shibud Malchias, it doesn't totally get rid of it like the way it was rid of by Pesach. They were totally liberated from Paro, and that comes together with Bir Chametz. So you get rid of the Sorsha Beisa, together with getting rid of the Shibud Malchus in totality, and then you have Gula in full actuality, right? Purim is still to finalize the renewal in the heart, because outwardly we're still slaves of Achashverosh. It was a nes nister, it was a hidden miracle. So only the Jews were able to see and realize in their hearts this wasn't a coincidence that there was a king that happened to be married to a Jewish woman. That wasn't a coincidence. Hashgacha pratis. Hidden Hashgacha pratis. Only we saw it. We had a renewal in the heart. That's simcha, right? The emunah belev is simcha, and lack of simcha is a chisarn in emunah, and we'll try to explain that in a second. Right, but so Purim is a renewal of the heart, and some of the secret that's hidden away in the heart comes out on Purim. Nichnas yayin yotza sod, right? The secret comes out just for a day, right? But the wine of Pesach is arba cherus tiknu, arba kos tiknu, chazal derech cherus, right? It's the wine of liberation, of enjoying freedom in full actuality, and they're both realities. The universe is not complete without the two of them, just like the universe is not complete without a neshama and a guf, without the spiritual, without the physical. On Purim, we renew the inner chambers of reality. Right, the simcha in the heart, the emunah in the heart, right, the hiddenness, right, and it's supposed to break forward to full actuality and full revelation. But realize that there's this glitch that there is between thought and action is represented by the glitch that there is between the moon and the sun. Right, the moon and the sun don't run on the same speed. The moon, which represents emunah, because when the moon shines at night, when you need emunah, ve'emunascha ba'leilos, you need faith by night when you can't see. That's all in the heart. And yet the moon moves faster than the sun, right? That means our emunah that we have in our hearts is much bigger than what we actually accomplish in action. Our actions lag behind. So that's for me like, the solar cycle lags behind by 10 days. Solar cycle represents what we actually do, right? And what we believe runs ahead of what we actually do. Because Nebuch, like the Chet Ego, which represents the Yitzhar, is between Truma Tetzaveh and the first part of Kisisa and Vayakol Pekude. So also you have the Eitzar, that's the cosmic glitch, which is also why the moon and the sun aren't in perfect sync. So now in a regular year, how do we sew up this glitch? It says in Sforim, right? A lot of Sforim, in the Shla and in the Goyin, right? The Rosh Hashanah brings in the new year, but the solar cycle is 10 days behind. It's 10 days longer than the lunar cycle, right? So it's Rosh Hashanah on the lunar calendar. It's the new year, Rosh Hashanah of the lunar calendar, but on the solar cycle, it's still 10 days in the past. Those are the Aseres Yemei Tshuva, where we have to do tshuva for the glitch between, what's the good intentions in our heart versus our actions that lag behind. And Yom Kippur, which is when the tshuva is finalized, that's the 10th day. That's when the sun catches up to the moon. Amazing, right? But that's in a small year, and that's during Aseres Yemei Tshuva. In a big year, says the Goin, on the average, we have a leap year every third year. That's 3 sets of Aseres Yemei Tshuva. The 3 sets of Aseres Yemei Tshuva make Adar Sheni. The 30 days of Adar Sheni are constructed out of, 3 sets of Aseres Yemei Tshuva, and that causes a real equalization because it keeps Nisan, a lunar month, in the spring, which is a season, which is on the solar. It's the real equalization, and it represents in the future, V'haya Or Levana Korachama, right? The moon will shine as brightly as the sun. We're going to equalize. We're going to close up this gap and this schism. In reality, this schism that Amalek is just a menace. He's not just a physical block, but even tries to invade the heart, the part that's supposed to be untainted. He tries to hit us there also, cool us down. Right? So now in a regular year, Adar is the renewal of the heart, and it's the wine of Adar is the wine of Nichnas Yain Yotza Sod, how hiddenly, deep down in our consciousness, we have a unbreakable, right, indestructible Mishkan to Hashem in our hearts, represented by Truma Tetzaveh, right? And Amalek even tries to cool that down, right? He tries. Purim is to overcome him, and just the opposite, to push things forward towards actuality. But comes Pesach, which is the Chag that we bring in after we read Vayakol Pekude of the Mishkan in actuality. That's, where it's not just in a hidden way in the spiritual realms, but becomes revealed even in the physical realms. Right? But on a leap year, it's much bigger, right? We are inching towards actuality. Much, every year is to move more from potential to actual, right? From which potential actual represents thought and plan to full fruition, right? And it's represented by the transition from Adar to Nisan, right? And every year is to be one in the big picture, one step closer to the end of time, right? But on a leap year, it's a quantum leap forward. It's like reminiscent of the great equalization and the great sewing up of the cosmic rift that there'll be in the future. So it's not just one step forward. It's a big jump forward. It's a big jump forward. And it's a big jump to ridding us of Amalek, because Muhammad Hashem ba'Amalek midor dor, right? He's a constant menace until the end of time. So if we defeated him this year, he comes back next year. So of course we defeat him on a whole nother level. But then he comes back to challenge us on that higher level that we reach. And we're going to just be dealing with this low life in all his different forms that he takes on. He's a shapeshifter, as you know from history, whether he's the Spanish Inquisition, whether he's Nazi Germany, whether he's the liberals, right, the leftists. He's every year he comes back in a different form. If we beat him in his last year's incarnation, and we're on a whole nother level, so on that new level, that he comes up in a new incarnation. We'll be rid of him, when we're finally rid of him, right? But on a leap year, we have a double month of Mechias Amalek, right? Adar, Purim Katan, to defeat him the way we defeat him every year. But we save all the halachas of Purim to be near Pesach, Mismach Gula Gula Adifa, because Purim Gadol, it is Purim Katan. Purim Gadol is a bigger Purim, because the Purim of a leap year borders on full actuality. On full actuality. It's like the gap between the thought versus action that gap is smaller during a leap year. That's why we put Purim to be near Pesach, to mismach gula gula adifa, right? To keep the gap between thought and action even smaller. It's a giant leap forward to the great cosmic unification and reconciliation, of sewing up the cosmic rift that is the human problem, the cosmic problem that needs to be set straight, to attain the tikkun of the future. Right? So Purim Katan is all the spiritual energy of a regular Purim, just the actual physical mitzvahs. Get it? Maisa, le Maisa, what we do with our body on Purim is to be kept close to Pesach, which is where everything is manifest in body and in physical actuality. Right? The Purim on this year, the Purim Gadol is Purim that borders on Pesach, literally, right? The universe is pushed quantum leap forward, a great jump of closing the gap between the thought and action and physical reality. But Purim Katan is all the renewal in the heart that Purim is. All the renewal in the heart is on, and that's what the secret, the Svarim say. Reb talks about this, that the Ramah, the very last words of the whole Orach Chaim, which really means way of life. The very last halacha is Purim Katan, and Ramah ends off Tov Leiv Mishtet. To be of good heart is a constant drinking party. So we should celebrate. But, the ikar emphasis of today is the renewal in the heart. And it's all the renewal heart of a regular Purim, right? Purim in another month's time will be on a higher level that it isn't generally. It's going to be Purim that borders on Pesach. It's going to be a renewal in the heart that's not just, in a very hidden way. It's a renewal heart that bursts forth. It's close to Pesach. Right? But what we need to know, right, that this all comes up during a Shemitta year, which also is a great year of also the universe jumping forward, quantum leap in destiny. It's like the Shabbos of years. So just like Shabbos seals the level of last week, and the universe is starting on a whole nother level the following week. Right? Shemitta, the same thing. Shemitta is not just 1 year, one more year in the long haul of destiny. It's a big jump. So now we put the two together, leap year and Shemitta, and so much more so. Now we're talking about World War III, right? But we don't have to worry about World War III when we have something to drink. But the big problem is there may be shortages. We may not have enough to drink through World War III. That's why you gotta come to this event and see what's out there, see what's available, and order it right away with at great prices and with tax deductions because of your donation, for your donations, right? To make sure you have it, you need all the wine to drink through to make it, in a relaxed way, make it through World War III. But that's instead, the Gemara says, Shvius Milchamas, in the Messianic times, the Shemitah will be a year of war. And it's understandable because the whole secular world order of being ceased, mushbat. There's a Shabbos, a cessation being put on the secular world, right? Umotzoi Shabbos, Ben David Bob, and the Motzoi Shemitah, Be'ezrat Hashem Mashiach come b'meher b'yameinu. So now enjoy Purim Katan, the renewal in the heart, the Tov Leiv Mishtet Tamid, the Simcha that goes together with Emunah, and Emunah goes together with Simcha. The Maral writes in the Gevuros. Takes too long to explain because I've just run out of time because I have to run somewhere, L'Shem Shamayim, to do some preparations for this event, right? But be sure to be there. Tov Leiv Mishtet Tamid, make this commitment that this Simcha that's renewing on this day, you're going to bring to full fruition with the power of wine. So be at this wine tasting event this Motzei Shabbos. Get all the details on the link on the screen, and it's an opportunity to taste things you've never tasted before. Right, and to order things before the supply chains totally collapse. Hashem Yerachem, right? We shall hear Basuras Tavis Tov Leiv Mishtet Tamid L'Cham.
Tell how many people were in that.